Shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Yahweh Kakodash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, because those are the men who I've learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And shalom to you sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. I am the brother Mashiach Arazakah from the servants of Yahweh Yahweh Shai Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch. And pretty much in this lesson, it's going to be titled as Genesis 49 Breakdown. All right, and we're going to break this down through the spirit. All right, Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. These are the, I've been studying Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, and Genesis 49. So I'm still going into Ezekiel 38, but through the Spirit, the Lord has revealed Genesis 49 for me to fully break it down. I mean, I broke it down, previously, but I'm breaking it down again, just using the scriptures, So, Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. We're going to go off the top of the head breaking this down. All right, so basically, Genesis 49 is going into the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel and who they are today. All right, so we're going to break this down through the scripture, through the spirit. Lord wants us to edifying. This is Genesis 49 and 1. It says, "And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you which shall befall you in the last days," right? Because we've been in the last days, all right? We've been in the last days since the Messiah first stepped foot on the scene. When the Messiah first stepped foot on the scene, that was the beginning of the last days, all right? We're in the fourth beast right now, all right? The fourth beast is what? The Roman Empire, all right? Ancient Rome did fall, but it was rebuilt again in this place called America, all right? Going into Daniel 7 and 8, right? That little horn, that's talking about America, all right? So this place called America, which is Babylon the Great, modern day Rome, modern day Egypt, this is the Roman Empire today. All right, Rome was rebuilt here in America. For those of you that don't know. All right, so we've been in the last days. We've been in the last days since Yahweh Shai first stepped foot on the scene. This is Genesis 49 and 2. It says, "Gather yourselves together and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben," all right, now Reuben is the so-called Seminole Indians today. That's the tribe of Reuben. All right, Reuben is the Seminole Indians. All right, that's the tribe. That's the tribe of Reuben. All right, Reuben is the so-called Seminole Indians. All right, because the so-called Seminole Indians is the tribe of Reuben. All right, that's who the tribe of Reuben is today. The so-called Seminole Indians. This is Genesis 49 and 3. It says, "Reuben, thou art my firstborn." It says, "My son, and the beginning of my strength." It says, "the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power." Reuben was the only Native American tribe that was not taken down by the U.S. troops. All right, they tried and tried and tried and tried, but they couldn't do it. All right, and plus, the Seminole Indians, where they were was in the swampy areas, so they couldn't track, or know where to find them, or where to go, or how to be able to overcome them in battle. Esau tried and tried and tried to the point to where they were just like, fuck it, we just gonna leave them alone. But Reuben is the only Native American tribe that was not taken down by the U.S. troops. All right, they were a mighty tribe. This is Genesis 49 and 3. It says, "Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power." Right, verse 4, it says, "Unstable as water," right? "Thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed." All right, and basically Reuben, he slept with one of his father's concubines. All right, he slept with one of Jacob's concubines, and we're going to get that right now. This is Genesis 35, and we're going to read verse 22. This is Genesis 35 and verse 22, and it says, "It came to pass when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lied with Bilhah his father's concubine. So there you go. Reuben broke the commandment. He lied. He had sex with one of his father's concubines. He slept with one of his father's concubines. All right, and it says it right here, verse 22. And it came to pass when Israel dwelt in that land that Reuben went and lied with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. So yeah, Reuben slept with one of his father's concubines. He broke the commandment. All right, so that's what that's going into. This is verse 4 again. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Right, so we read that in Genesis 35 and 22. All right, Reuben slept with one of his father's concubines. All right, he broke the commandment. But basically, the tribe of Reuben is the so-called Seminole Indians today. That is the tribe of Reuben. All right. Verse 5, it says, Simeon and Levi are brethren. Right, Shimeon and Levi are brethren. Shimeon is the so-called Dominicans today. That's the tribe of Shimeon. All right, Levi are the so-called Haitians today. That's the tribe of Levi. All right, and if you look at a map, you can see Haiti and you can see the Dominican Republic. They're right next door to each other. You can literally walk from across. They're right there on the same island. They're next door to each other. They stay right next door to one another. All right. So, you know, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, right, which are the Haitians and the Dominicans, they live right next door to each other, all right, which is Shimeon and Levi. It says, instruments of cruelty are in their habitation, right, because the Haitians, all right, they do a lot of voodoo, all right. They do a lot of voodoo. They do a lot of wicked shit. The Haitians, they do a lot of voodoo, all right, and, you know, continue reading. It says, O my soul, come not thou into their secret and into their assembly. Mine honor be not them united. It says, for in their anger slew a man, and in their self-will they dug down a wall. And you know, them Haitians, they do a lot of voodoo. Again, they go down to Suriname and they basically kill them and then take their skulls and then sell them to the voodoo priests. You know, because going back before they became, you know, doing voodoo and stuff, you know, the Levites, they were the Levitical priests. All right. The Haitians are of the tribe of Levi. They were the Levitical priests. But now they got into voodoo and all that other stuff. So they do a lot of voodoo. You know, they do a lot of voodoo, you know. So, you know, they do a lot of voodoo. The Haitians, which are the tribe of Levi, all right, they do a lot of voodoo. All right. So again, you know, they go down to Suriname and cut their heads and then kill them, cut their heads and then sell their skulls to the voodoo priests out there in Haiti. They do a lot of wickedness. All right. So the Shimeon is the Dominicans, and Levi is the so-called Haitians. All right. Those are the tribe of Shimeon and Levi. All right. The Dominicans and the Haitians. All right. It says, verse 7, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, with their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. So the also, you know, to add to that, the Dominicans, they don't like the Haitians, all right, because the Haitians is darker than them. All right. So right now, the Dominicans and the Levites, I mean the Shimeon and Levi, they ain't getting along right now. You know, they're pretty messed up. The Dominicans and the Levites are messed up right now. But you know, Lord willing, when the Lord come back, you know, they'll be as one. But right now, they're messed up. You know, that's pretty much it. But again, Shimeon and Levi, Shimeon is the so-called Dominicans, and Levites are the so-called Haitians. All right. Verse 8. This is Genesis 49:8. It says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Everyone praises Judah. Everyone praises Judah. Everyone's trying to imitate Judah. Judah, everybody imitates Judah, man. Everyone follows after Judah. Judah, you know, everyone imitates, man. All right. Everyone praises Judah. Everyone imitates Judah, man. Judah's good in basketball. They're good in rapping. They're good in music, right? They're good. They got talent, man. And Judah is the so-called Negroes, all right? That's the tribe of Judah. Judah is the so-called Negroes, man. That's the tribe of Judah, all right? You so-called African Americans, you call yourself black, right? You call yourself Negro. You're the tribe of Judah, all right? That's Judah. Everyone imitates Judah, man, all right? It says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. It says thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. And this is what we're waiting on patiently. All right. This is a future prophecy in the near future that's going to come. And that's what we're waiting for patiently, man. All right. And it says, continuing, and it says, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. All of us is going to bow down before Judah because Judah is the head tribe. Judah is the top tribe. Judah is the head tribe, man. All right. So we're all going to bow before Judah. Judah is the top tribe, man. All right. And it says, verse 9, Judah is a lion's whelp. This is Genesis 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up. He stood down. He couched as a lion, right? And as an old lion. Because right now, Judah is that old lion. He's getting killed left and right. But the Lord is going to rise him up, and he's going to become that young lion again. All right? But right now, Judah is that old lion, man. He's getting killed left and right. But the Lord is going to rise him up. Reading the next verse, he says, who shall rise him up? Yahweh Shemashai is going to rise up Judah. Judah's going to be that young lion again. Right now, he's that old lion. All right? But let's get back to it. This is verse 9. It says, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stopped down, he couched as a lion and as an old lion, right? Who shall rise him up? Yahweh Shemashai is going to rise up Judah. All right, Judah's going to rise up. All right, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is going to rise up Judah. And once Judah rises up, then Ephraim's going to rise up. Once Ephraim rises up, then all the other tribes are going to follow after, and they're going to rise up. And we can get that in 1 Kings 11 and 15. We're going to get that right now. This is 1 Kings chapter 11, and we're going to read verse 15. All right. This is 1 Kings 11 and 15, and this is to prove that Judah's going to rise up, right? Then Ephraim's going to rise up. Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans today, all right? So once Judah rises up, then Ephraim's going to rise up. Once Ephraim rises up, then all the other tribes are going to rise up after. That's how it's going to go. And this is a prophecy that's coming too. That hasn't happened yet. This is 1 Kings 11 and 15. For it came to pass when David was in Edom. Oh, this is, yeah. Salakia. I think I jumped the gun. Let me read it again. It's Salakia. It's Zechariah 9 and 13. Salakia. That's for the next precept. I jumped the gun. Let me get it. This is to prove that. This is Zechariah. I was thinking of the next precept, but Salakia on that. This is Zechariah. Salakia on that. That was my mistake. I jumped the gun. This is Zechariah 9 and 13 to prove that Ephraim is going to rise up. Because I was thinking of the next precept after. Salakia on that. This is Zechariah 9 and 13. It says, when I bent Judah for me, filled the bowl with Ephraim. And Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans, man. That's the tribe of Ephraim. It says, when I have bent Judah, this is Zechariah 9 and 13. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bowl with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. See? So the sons of Zion is going to rise up. So once Judah rises up, then Ephraim's going to join, and they're going to rise up. And then once they rise up, then all the rest of the tribes are going to rise up. That's how it goes. Just looking at the Rodney King riots, right? Judah was tearing up L.A., and then you had the other tribes following. Then you had the, probably paraphrasing again, you had the George Floyd riots, right? Judah was tearing shit up, and then all the other tribes followed after. That's why Judah is the top tribe, all right? Once Judah rises up, Ephraim rises up, all the other tribes are going to rise up, man. That's how it is, all right? So we proved that. So now we're going to go back to Genesis 49. And Salakia again on that. I kind of jumped the gun. So again, just read it from the top. This is Genesis 49, and we're going to read verse 9 again. Because I jumped the gun. I went to 1 Kings 11 and 15, but that's actually going into the next precept after. All right. So Salakia. This is Genesis 49 and 9. It says, Judah is a lion's whelp from a prey, my son, thou art gone up. It says he stooped down, right? And it says he couched as a lion and as an old lion, who shall rise him up? So again, who should rise him up? The Lord Yahweh Shemashai is going to rise him up. But going back to the prey, that's what I should have did, because I didn't read that part. That goes into 1 Kings. So Salakia. Genesis 49 and 9. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. And who's the prey? Esau. Esau is the prey. All right. Judah got off on Esau, making him the prey. And that's where you get that Kings 11 and that 1 Kings. And I'm going to get that out. Now we'll go to 1 Kings 11. And I was supposed to break down for that first, but it's all good. Salakia on that. This is 1 Kings 11 and 15. Because that prey is Esau, man. Alright. So it's not I didn't jump the gun. It's that I skipped over the prey. But it's all good. This is 1 Kings 11 and 15. It says, for it came to pass when David was in Edom, right? And David and Joab was in the land of Edom for 6 months. And when they were in the land of Edom for 6 months, they slayed all the male Edomites. All right. This is 1 Kings 11 and 15. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of hosts, was gone up to bury the slain after he had smitten every male in Edom. See, so they were in the land of Edom. They were in the land of Edom for 6 months. All right. And while they were there in Edom for 6 months, they slayed all the males of Edom. All right. Verse 16. For 6 months did Joab maintain there with all Israel until he had cut off every male in Edom. So there you go. David and Joab was in the land of Edom for 6 months. And as they were there for those 6 months, they slayed and killed all the males of Edom in those 6 months. So that's what that's going into. All right, that prey. Genesis 49 and 9. It says Judah is a lion's whelp from a prey, and that's talking about Esau, Edom, right? And it says, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped low. He crouched as a lion, as an old lion, who shall rise him up. And we got that in Zechariah 9 and 13. The Lord Yahweh Shemashai is going to rise up Judah, and Ephraim's going to join, and all the other tribes are going to rise up. That's how it's going to go. And that's a prophecy that's due to come. Verse 10, this is Genesis 49 and 10. It says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And who's Shiloh? Who's Shiloh? Who's talking about Shiloh? Who's Shiloh? Yahushai. Yahushai is Shiloh. It's talking about Yahushai. So when you see Shiloh there, that's talking about the Messiah, Yahushai. That's Shiloh, right? And it says, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So under Yahushai, the gathering of the Israelites is going to be. That's where the gathering of the Lord's people is going to be. Under Yahushai, right? And it says, verse 11, and this is a prophecy which is due to come, and this prophecy in verse 11 was given by Zechariah the prophet. All right. And this is Genesis 49 and verse 11. It says, binding his fall unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. And this is going into Matthew 21 and 1. And this is a prophecy given by Zechariah the prophet. All right, saying that the Messiah is going to ride on an ass and a colt. And an ass is a baby donkey, and an ass is a donkey, and a colt is a baby donkey. Salakia. So this is Matthew. Let's get that out. And we're going to come back to that. Genesis 49 and 11. This is Matthew. This is Matthew 21. All right. This is Matthew 21. And we're going to read from verse 1 on down to 7. So this is what the Messiah, he's going to tell 2 of his disciples to go and get a donkey and a baby donkey. They're tied, to untie them and bring them to him. Right? This is Matthew 21 and 1. Matthew 21 and 1, it says, and when they draw nigh unto Jerusalem, all right, and were come to Bethphage unto the Mount of Olives, then sent Yahushai 2 disciples. So he sent 2 of his disciples, right? It says, saying unto them, this is what the Messiah said unto them, go into the village over against you, and it says, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied. An ass is a donkey, all right? That's an ass, all right? It says, and a colt with her. A colt is a baby donkey. So you got an ass, which is a donkey, and you got a colt, which is a baby donkey, all right? And it says, loose them and bring them unto me. So he told them to loose them and bring them unto him. Right? And it says, verse 3, and if any man say aught unto you, right? It says, aught unto you, ye shall say, the Lord have need of them, and straightway he will send them. All right, verse 4, it says, all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, right? Saying, verse 5, tell ye the daughter of Zion, right? Behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, right? And this is prophet Zechariah that's mentioned in this, right? That ass is a donkey, right? So it's talking about Yahushua, but this is a prophecy given by Zechariah the prophet, right? Verse 5, it says, tell ye the daughter of Zion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, which is a donkey, right? It says, and a colt of foal of an ass, which is a baby donkey, right? The colt. Verse 6, it says, and the disciples went and did as what Yahushua commanded them, right? And brought the ass and colt, right? Which is the baby donkey, and put on them their clothes, and they set him thereon. So this is a prophecy given by Zechariah the prophet. All right. So when you read Genesis 49 and 11, it's talking about the Messiah when he's coming. All right. He's riding on that ass and that colt, which the ass is a donkey and the colt is a baby donkey. All right. That was a prophecy given by Zechariah the prophet. So that's what that's going into. All right. The Messiah making his second coming, man. But he's going to come on a chariot though. All right. But this was symbolic. All right. A metaphor, in other words. Verse 12, it says, his eyes shall be red with wine. And this is giving the description of the Messiah. So it says, his eyes shall be red with wine because the Messiah drunk a lot of wine. He was a heavy drinker. The Messiah drunk a lot of wine. That's why his eyes was red. All right. The Messiah drunk a lot of wine. And it says, and his feet white. Let's say it's like it. In his teeth. So like it. In his teeth white with milk. Right. Now you got Jakes, the simple ones, that's novices. They'll read that scripture and say, see, his teeth was white as milk. But that's not what that's talking about. That's talking about the sincere milk of the word. And let's get that for edification's sake. Because that Genesis 49 and 12 becomes a stumbling block for certain Jakes. Because they'll read that there and literally say, yeah, his teeth was white for milk. That's talking about his actual teeth. But that's not talking about the Messiah's teeth. That's talking about the word. All right. And we're going to prove that. The sincere milk of the word. Which is in 2 Peter. Let me get that out. Let's get that Peter out. This is so like, yeah, bear with me. This is 2 Peter 2 and verse say 2 Peter I think it's 2 and 2 or 1 and 2. I think it's 2 and 2. I'm in 1 and 1. Salakia. 2 Peter. I think it's 1 and 1. 2 and 2. 1 Peter 2 and 2. Salakia. 1 Peter 2 and 2. It says, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. So it's 1 Peter 2 and 2. Salakia. 1 Peter 2 and 2. All right, that's talking about the sincere milk of the word. So let's read that again, and then we're going to go back to that precept again. This is Genesis 49 and 12. It says, his eyes were red with wine because the Messiah drank a lot of wine. All right. It says, and his teeth white with milk. So it's not talking about his actual teeth. Because you got people that say his teeth was white with milk. That's not what that's talking about. It's talking about the word. The sincere milk of the word. The word is written of Yahushua, right? I think it's Psalms 40 and 7. And also Hebrews 10 and 7, if I'm not mistaken. All right. This is 1 Peter 2 and 2. It says, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word. All right. And that's what that's talking about. So his teeth being white with milk, that's talking about the sincere milk of the word. The scriptures, the word. All right. It says that ye may grow thereby. So it's talking about the word. All right. That's what that's talking about. Verse 13, this is Genesis 49:13. It says, Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. And the Zebulun is the so-called Panamanians and Guatemalans. That's Zebulun. All right. Verse 14, it says, Issachar is a strong ass coaching down between two burdens. And Issachar is the so-called Hispanics, Mexicans, right? Latinos. That's the tribe of Issachar. All right. All right. Issachar is the so-called Hispanics. All right. It says, and he saw the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Right. So Issachar, this is his spirit. He does a lot of labors. Issachar does a lot of labors, man. They can work doing 40 hours and then do doubles after. You know, Issachar, that's just in their spirit, man. Issachar, the so-called Hispanics, they do a lot of working. They wash cars, they're janitors, you know, they do construction, you know, they sell ice cream, you know, they make a lot of food, they sell food, right? They do a lot of fast food, all right? Issachar is just in their spirit. They always work. That's the Lord gave them that spirit. That's their spirit. That's their spirit, man. They love to work. That's Issachar for you, man. It says, Dan shall judge his people, right, as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall befall backward, right? And Dan, we're not sure of the tribe of Dan. Dan is, you know, through faith, Dan is in the midst of Israel. They're mixed into Israel. All right, we don't know where the tribe of Dan is. All right, Dan is mixed, basically mixed all into Israel, man. That's where the tribe of Dan is. All right, Dan is mixed all into Israel. This is Genesis 49:18. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. All right, and it says verse 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, right? But he shall overcome at the last, right? And Gad is the so-called Native American Indians. All right, that's the tribe of Gad. All right, the U.S. troops took us down, going into the Corneo Wars, right? Going into the Little Bighorn Wars, right? The Wounded Knee, right? The King Anne's War, the King Philip Wars, the Queen Anne Wars, right? You had a lot of other wars of Native American wars. That you can bring up, you know, those are the four I'm thinking off the top of the head. Wounded Knee was pretty bad. It's another one I can't really think of right now, but it's a lot of wars, man, that happened. All right, we were taken down by the U.S. troops though. But continuing, this is Genesis 49:19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, right? But he shall overcome at the last, and we're gonna overcome at the last. You know, we were dominated by the U.S. troops. You know. And again, Gad is the so-called Native American Indians, man. All right. This is Genesis 49:20. It says, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield world dainties. And Asher is the Colombians and the Urangians, if I'm saying it right. That's the tribe of Asher. All right, the Colombians and the Urangians. All right. It says, Naphtali is an hide let loose. He giveth godly words. And Naphtali is is Chile and Argentinians. All right, that's the tribe of Naphtali. All right, the Argentinians and and Chile. All right, and it says this is Genesis 49:22. It says, Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. Verse 24, but his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty power of Jacob, right? It says, from thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. And you know, Joseph, all right, is the father of Manasseh and Ephraim, all right, which Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans I said earlier, and Manasseh is the so-called Cubans, and we're going to get into them too because they're not in Genesis 49. Ephraim and Manasseh is not mentioned in Genesis 49, so we're going to go to Genesis 48, but I'm going to finish this right here, Lord willing. Verse 25, it says, even by the power of thy father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee, right? It says, with blessings of haven above, blessings and of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast of the womb. So the tribe of Joseph is the so-called Puerto Ricans, which is the tribe of Ephraim. All right, Ephraim is the tribe of Joseph, but you got Manasseh as well. Manasseh was the son of Joseph, and they're the so-called Cubans today. All right, Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans, and the tribe of Manasseh is the so-called Cubans. All right, they're both sons of Jacob. I mean, not Jacob. They're grandchildren of Jacob, but they're sons of Joseph. Those are both his sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Verse 26, it says, the blessing of thy father hath prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, right? And on the crown of the head of him that was separated from his brothers, right? Because his brothers was jealous of him, right? His brothers sold him, right? He was sold into slavery in Egypt, and the Lord established him to be governor of Egypt. Joseph went from a slave to becoming governor of Egypt, right? But we're going to prove that Ephraim and Manasseh are Joseph's sons, right? But Jacob, the father of Joseph, took Joseph's sons and claimed them as his own children. And we're going to prove that in Genesis 48, which makes Ephraim and Manasseh of the 12 tribes. All right, so Jacob took Joseph's sons and claimed them as his own children. This is Genesis 48 and verse 1 through 5, and we're going to prove it in here. This is when Joseph goes to visit his father. All right, this is Genesis 48 and 1. It says, and it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him 2 sons. See, this is Joseph. He took his 2 sons with him. Who was his 2 sons? Manasseh and Ephraim. So Manasseh and Ephraim are the sons of Joseph. All right. So Manasseh is the so-called Cubans today. That's the tribe of Manasseh. And the tribe of Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans today. That's the tribe of Ephraim. All right. Ephraim is the Puerto Ricans. Manasseh is the Cubans. Verse 2. This is Genesis 48 and 2. And one told Jacob and said one said unto Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. Verse 3, and Jacob said unto Joseph, power almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, right? And blessed me. Verse 4, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee. I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for everlasting possession. And this is verse 5. This is when Jacob tells Joseph that he's taking his sons and claiming them as his own and making them his mine. Verse 5, Genesis 48 and 5. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim, which Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans today, and Manasseh. Manasseh is the so-called Cubans today. All right. Which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt. Joseph's sons, they were born in Egypt. Right. It says, are mine. So he took Joseph's sons and claimed them as his own. Adopted them as his own children. So they make up the 12 tribes of Israel. They're of Israel. They're Israelites. They're of Israel anyway because they're Joseph's sons. Joseph was an Israelite. All right. And it says, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee in Egypt, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon shall be mine. Right? Reuben and Simeon shall be mine. So he claimed Joseph's sons and took them as his own. So they are part of the 12 tribes. All right? So Ephraim and Manasseh are of the 12 tribes of Israel. So Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans, all right, and Manasseh is the so-called Cubans. This is Genesis 49 and 27. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. All right, and who's Benjamin? Benjamin is the so-called Jamaicans today. That's the tribe of Benjamin. You also have Trinidad. Just to name a few, you got the Jamaicans, you got Trinidad, you got Belize. That's just a few off the top of the head. That's the tribe of Benjamin. All right. It says Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, right? And at night he shall divide the spoil. So Benjamin is the so-called Jamaicans. Again, the Jamaicans, Trinidad, Belize. All right, Benjamin is the so-called Jamaicans today. Verse 28. All these were the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spake unto them and blessed them, every one according to his blessing. He blessed them, right? And this is basically from verse 29 to 33 is going into where Jacob wants to be buried at. He's going to be buried with Leah. His wife Leah is already dead, and she's buried in that land. All right, and we're going to get it out right now. This is verse 29. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. This is Jacob saying, bury me with my fathers in the cave is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, right? And that's where Jacob wanted to be buried, because Father Abraham, Isaac, they were all buried over there. His wife was buried over there, right? Sarah was buried over there, right? They were all buried over there in Ephron, Ephron the Hittite. Verse 30, it says, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, right? Which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite, right? Ephron the Hittite was basically the one that Moses bought the land from, Salakia, but the place where they were buried at was Machpelah, Salakia. It says, which is before Mamre, right, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a buried place. And that's, Ephron was the Hittite. That's where Father Abraham met with, and yeah, he did buy that land. Going back, when you go back into Genesis, a couple of chapters. So Salakia on that, I made an error on that. Verse 31, it says there they buried Abraham, right, and Sarah his wife, right, they're buried there. And it says there they buried Isaac and Rebekah, right, Isaac, Rebekah, they're buried there. It says his wife, and there I buried Leah. Leah's buried there. So Jacob wanted to be buried there too. It says the purchase of the field and the cave that is therein is from the children of Heth, right? And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered upon his feet onto the bed and yelled up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. So Jacob basically wound up passing away. But pretty much there, man, that's Genesis 49. All right, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honors and glories, praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Wahawah Kakudash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Giving double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, because those are the men who I learned this truth from through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Hashai. Peace, blessings, salutations, hopeful elect. And shalom to you, sincere brother scattered abroad, pushing forth this word of truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Mashiach Arazakai from the servants of Yahweh Yahushai Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch. And Lord, one, this lesson was edifying. So, hey, man, that's a breakdown of Genesis 49. Lord, one, that lesson was edifying. Until next time I say, shalom. Shalom.